Do you think a sheriff has the right to actually go after all the different immortals in the town that he settles in? You tell me. I'm Shane Comley-White, and you're with me at Rocking at the Movies, and stay with me. Let's get into the next section of the video.
I'm Duncan MacLeod of Clan MacLeod, born 400 years ago in the... Well, no, not really. That was a TV show called Highlander. So, just listen to Rocking at the Movies with me, Adrian Paul, and Shane Comley-White, and you'll learn some interesting facts.
Alright everybody, my name is Shane Comley-White, and you with me at Rocking at the Movies, and yes, we are going to be delving into a little bit more of the interesting information about who Duncan has to face in the episode called Innocent Man. And this episode is actually quite an interesting one, like I said in the previous video, because it's about a guy who actually hunts down other immortals in different towns, and his name is Howard Crowley. And Howard Crowley, he's an immortal who, how can I say, he was part of the military around the Civil War era, and he goes from town to town, settling in as a sheriff, or portraying that he's a sheriff, or maybe actually could be a recognized sheriff, but he goes through and locates all of the immortals who live in those small little towns, and he challenges them. Now, in this episode, he challenges Lucas Desiree, who is a friend of Duncan MacLeod. We don't know much more information about Lucas because we actually never see the fight. We never see what kind of style he fights with or in, and we don't actually know too much about him, but we can get into that at a later stage if we have to. However, we're going to be talking about Howard Crowley. I'm going to give you some information. I've just got it written down just so I can make sure I've got it all correct for you. He was born in the US in 1901. So if you think about it, it's not that long ago. Okay, in our time it's 100 years ago, 100 plus years ago. Okay, so yeah, he's quite old to us. However, Duncan's older than him. But what he did was he actually died in action during a war, one of his battles that he was part of, in 1945. So again, he is quite a young immortal. And since then, he was actually taught by various different immortals. And one of them, it seemed to be he gave him one of his swords or anything else like that. But the guy's name was Wayne. And he was mentored by Wayne in the entire immortal world, and what the game is, and what you have to do to be able to be the victor, and all of that as well. And somehow down the line, Crowley was given, or he came across, a claymore, and now that is the sword that he prefers to fight with. In a way, it doesn't match his character, in my opinion. I would actually say he should have had maybe a Civil War saber or a military sword that he could have carried through from the days when he was actually in the Civil War itself. That one would be a little bit more fitting. However, he fights with a claymore. Now, a claymore is an old Scottish sword. It's a double-bladed or double-edged sword, and it's massive. Okay, and to be able to yield that sword as elaborately as he did, with a lot of flair and a lot of movement and all that kind of stuff, must be extremely difficult because they are not light swords. Now, if you had to compare this sword right here with a claymore, the samurai or Duncan sword will actually easily be wielded a lot better and a lot more efficiently than a claymore would be. Now, down the line, we actually see Duncan fighting with a claymore in a completely different style, which is fantastic to see, because you see the swift, fast, super accurate movements with the katana behind me at the moment, and then you see him using a lot more of a defensive and a much heavier weapon down the line. But in this episode, it didn't suit the character that was yielding the claymore. It's as if he didn't actually know how to use it properly. It almost looked like he just got the sword and it's the best one that he used. But he uses it, and it seems like he uses it as an executioner's axe, okay, or executioner's sword. And that's how he seems to really just kill his victims. He gets him on the knees, and he hacks away and he chops off the head. And I would actually say that the weight of the sword is the one that actually does the work, not so much the skill. And you see Duncan taking his revenge and actually winning the fight between the two, he uses a lot more of a skilled, precise kind of strike. But yeah, so that's the sword that it is. And this is Howard Crowley. And yeah, he's not such a fantastic guy. I think he's quite a nasty person. Definitely racist, I would definitely say that. But if you think about it, that's his nature. It comes from the time that he was around during the Civil World War, when there were slaves, when there were this thing against various different cultures and all that. So he just stayed the same. But he's got this arrogant chip on his shoulder. He thinks he's better than everyone else, and he tries to take advantage, which he does. But yeah. All right, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm also going to be launching that site very, very soon. It's going to be a fantastic Patreon site that's going to be with so much information for you, which you're going to love. And I'm going to break down a whole bunch of different things that I do when it comes to the movie making. Okay, so I'm going to add in a lot of my martial arts skills that I've developed over the last 25 years or so. My sword play that I know. I'm a third dan in sword itself, so please don't forget to subscribe to the Patreon site as soon as it's launched. It's coming very, very soon, so please keep a lookout for it. I will be I'll be creating a video and launching that as well, explaining exactly what the Patreon is going to be and how it's all going to work. I don't want to give it away just yet because this is something very unique and something that you are going to love. All right, thank you so much. Like, subscribe, notification bell, because next week there is going to be another video from the next episode and you do not want to miss out on this one. Great. Have a great one. Cheers. Bye.